being fed to everyone by his estranged family members. Estranged family members that he didn't have communication with. And earlier today, Andrea addressed that in one of her live streams, and she talked about Von's family, and she said, why do you want to insert people into his life that he doesn't want to be a part of? Why are you trying to force people into his life that he didn't? When you, hold on. Why would you want to force people into his life that he didn't want to have in his life? Why would you believe people that weren't part of his life? And why is it that just because he didn't talk about the fact that he was struggling with depression or whatever was going on with him, doesn't mean that suddenly, like, he didn't know? She also made a really good point that there's a lot of people that either attempt suicide or commit suicide or die by suicide that you would have never known were depressed because they keep it hidden. She probably knew, but she said he had been struggling for weeks, but she didn't talk about it publicly because that's not what her platform was built on. So anyone trying to imply that she did this to him, it's just so beyond the facts. The police report is very clear. She had nothing to do with this. On top of that, now people acting like she's lying about this current situation with him being in the hospital. This is a man that's under the care of doctors and in a long-term care facility. Do you really think she has anything to do with his current situation? It's ridiculous. If you want to support her, it's one thing. Go ahead and support her. You don't have to agree with her. There's things that she says that I don't agree with. There's steps that she takes in her life that I don't agree with, but that's the beauty of the internet. You don't have to watch someone that you don't like. And if someone's going to trigger you to the point that you feel a sense of like retaliation against them, where you're going to try to interfere in their private lives, maybe you should just take a step back. When I was covering it, I was trying to get people to not call CPS. I was trying to tell people not to go to her house. I was trying to tell people don't go real life. But people are still trying to go real life. People are still trying to harass her, and it's just so unnecessary. I'm not going to make any comments about his current medical situation. I'm not going to speculate on what's happening with his life. I'm not going to say anything about what's happening between Dre and her parents or his parents and what's going on with Von. She's come back to her platform. If you want to hear it from her, watch her, but don't add fuel to the fire. I already saw that as soon as she went live, people were accusing her of just coming back for money. She was very clear that this is what her job is. She is an influencer. She has a platform of 647,000 people on her Facebook. She's got over 100 grand on her Instagram. She makes her money as a makeup influencer. I mean, that's what she does. So it's easy to say she should get a real job. If you could make money being a makeup influencer and just talking for your living, wouldn't you want to do that? Why should she have to go get a real job when the job she has pays her a lot of money? She shouldn't be just like bullied off the internet based on lies and stopped and prevented from doing her job. And then people that are like mad at her for making money or doing it are hypocritical because they're the same people that made a lot of money covering her to begin with. So at the end of the day, no, Von is alive. And this isn't about Von's health. You can go to Dre's page to hear about what's going on with her. He is alive. And I'm not going to debate or discuss like what's happening with him. Just leave her alone. That's it. Leave her alone. If you want to go watch her live stream and like be supportive, be supportive. But if she makes you upset, just leave her alone. Nothing that you do online will change the situation that's currently happening right now. Nothing that you say will change. There's no rabbit hole here, Gregory. Literally, there's nothing to say. Nothing happened. Parents that were estranged created a false narrative about her, lied, and then spread it on you all over the internet. And tons of creators spread the story. Some of us figured out within a couple weeks it was all bogus, but other people continue to go on this wild goose chase trying to accuse her of crimes she didn't commit. So I'm not going to be the part of like trying to ruin a woman's life who's already got a husband that's in the hospital and she's in a foreign town that she doesn't know and she's not from, and she's got all this upheaval in her life. I'm not going to be a part of that. So if that's what you want to be a part of, and if you followed this page because of this story, I'm not going to cover it. I don't have an interest in being like a part of this machine that like harasses her. I wish her the best. I truly hope that Vaughn does get better if it's possible. I hope that he gets off of TPN. Anyone that has had a loved one on TPN knows that it's not, you can't stay on TPN forever at all. You just can't. TPN is like a last resort that someone is on when their body has shut down, like when their GI system has shut down. And so it's the only way that someone can get nutrients. So he's in a very delicate stage right now. So be supportive of that. Instead of, trying to say, oh, she's lying about this or she's lying about that, or I have opinions about this. Your opinions don't matter, really. My opinion doesn't matter. But I do have a platform and I do have a voice, and I have 97,000 of you that are on this page. Only a couple hundred of you are currently watching. Maybe more of you will see this when it's actually like posted. But if you know that you're part of a problem, or if you know that a story is false, going on a tangent and like trying to, I don't know, ruin someone's life based on a lie is just so unnecessary. I would much rather focus my time and energy on covering the cults that I do and the stories that I do. I would rather talk about the dangers out there that are truly dangerous. I would rather expose the creeps that are really doing bad things. I would much rather talk about real people that are being abused and helping expose that and bringing light to that so that survivors are heard, so victims are freed, so people can get out of violent and abusive situations. That's what I would much rather cover. I haven't talked about her on this platform since August. There are content creators that are still making videos about her to this day. They haven't stopped the entire time. So I would much rather cover the cults that I cover. I would much rather talk about what John MacArthur's doing. Or you guys, by the way, did you see that Joshua Harris is mentioned in Ginger's book? I posted earlier today that there is a podcast about the rise and fall of Mars Hill, which was about Mark Driscoll's church in Washington, the state of Washington and Seattle. But there's a bonus episode all about Joshua Harris. In Ginger's book, she completely misleads people about who Joshua Harris is and why he did what he did, and made you think that he's trying to profit off of something that he's not trying to profit off of. And really diminish and degrade his journey out of what he actually went through, which was being a part of a system where he was groomed as a child and manipulated and controlled to become a pastor, to write a book that influenced people negatively. And as an adult, he really feels bad about that. And he did things that Ginger hasn't done. He got his publisher to stop selling the book. He went on a tour around the country and interviewed people that were hurt by his book and listened to their stories and apologized to them. He brought in experts to talk about the situation. So, there's so many other things to talk about. Or what about all the women that are currently at Grace Church that are being counseled to stay in marriages with men that are abusive? And if their husband might kill them, they're told they cannot leave. What about women that are being counseled to stay with husbands that are molesting their children because it's not biblical to leave their husband? What? That's the kind of stuff I want to cover. I don't want to cover this. I have her book. It's actually right here. I can show you like the print just to give you sort of an idea. Like this is a very generous 200 some pages. It's very spaced out, very short, very quick read. I think it's like 200 and some pages. But, you know, the last 3 or 4 chapters are really promoting John MacArthur's church, which is equally as bad, if not worse, because it's a larger influence at this point in time than Gothard. Gothard really has little to no influence anymore. That doesn't mean we still don't talk about it. It doesn't mean we still don't try to correct what was already put out there, but MacArthur's influence is still massive. So that's the stuff I want to talk about. I'd rather talk about, you know, Samuel Bateman, the cult leader that is the FLDS leader that has all these underage wives, and talk about all the children that are abducted by the FLDS every single day. That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about this. And I want other people to understand that, like, my platform is not built on covering influencers. It never has been. So I would much rather talk about the dangers out there that are real. And I don't see her as one. So if you want further updates, I would say go to her page and listen to her talk directly. I don't want to be the source of where you guys get your information from about a man that I don't feel like needs to be a story. Be nice to her. And yes, I made a mistake. And yes, I've owned my mistake. And yes, I contributed to the problem. And people will say, shame on you. Would you rather have me admit that I made a mistake and acknowledge that it wasn't cool and that I did follow a bad lead and acknowledge that? Would you rather me do that than just keep sending you down a bad lead and telling you a false story? Would you rather me admit my mistake and realize, yep, I'm going to be way more diligent the next time? Yeah, you bet. You bet I'm going to learn. You bet I've learned a lot. You bet. I rarely get stories wrong. And I got that one wrong at the beginning. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Josh's phone. I'm also just going to say that, like, Josh's phone issue, I broke that story last week and now it's everywhere. So all these outlets are reporting it now, but I broke the story and I didn't get credit. So that happens too in this industry. Like, you'll break a story and outlets will totally bypass you. So can I be mad that the Sun didn't credit me? Can I be mad that all these outlets are now reporting something that I literally broke last week? Sure. But I'm just going to keep moving on because I know that I have good sources. I have good people that reach out to me that I communicate with, and that's why I can deliver the stories that I deliver you. And yeah, I would much rather admit my mistake, acknowledge that I did it, apologize for what I've done, and say it has changed what I do. And I would also rather do that with the knowledge that if you're the one that keeps coming back to me to remind me that I did it when I've already apologized, I don't need to keep apologizing. I've already said I'm sorry. And if you think that, like, rubbing it in my face that, like, I did it will make me feel worse for already doing it, you can't. You're not going to make it feel worse, because at the time I felt terrible. So, and it doesn't change anything. If it makes you feel better to say that I was wrong, great. I was wrong. And I'll admit it. So when people say that I don't admit when I'm wrong, you can say, yes, she does. All right, I actually need to go make videos for my YouTube channel. I've got some new stuff that I want to put up. So can I send winter your way? Oh dear, no, it's very cold. It's actually, we had rain yesterday. It's very weird. The snow is kind of melting right now. Okay, so yeah,